Well, welcome once again to Start It Up here on ZDNet. This is where we talk to young entrepreneurs about what could be the next big idea. And I'm with Edwin Ongo from GiggedIn. Welcome along.
Thanks for having me.
I love this idea. So the idea behind this, and I'll leave you to tell us most of it, but it's to help musicians organize gigs that are going to be a surefire bet for them.
Yeah. So we do ticketing for music events, and we also help musicians and music event organizers book gigs where punters are guaranteed to turn up.
Right.
And we do that by getting fans to pledge to buy tickets in order to help support and make an event happen.
So it's a bit like group buying almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
But for musicians.
Yeah, it's almost like group buying. It's very similar to Kickstarter, so easiest way to think about it is crowdfunding or Kickstarter for live music.
Right. So I'm a band. I mean, perish the thought of you ever hear me sing, but you know, in theory. So I want to book a venue. So is organising the venue, that's part of the whole equation here as well?
Yeah. So we've got two arms to the business. The first one, we act as a ticketing agent. So we're a tool for musicians or booking agents or managers, and we allow them to create a listing on the site, get their fans to start pledging, and then once they hit the minimum number and know that it's going to be a viable gig for them, then we put it through the GiggedIn system and the gig's live,
right,
and completely risk-free.
Right.
The other side of the business is us moving into a full-service music events promotion and booking agency. So there we sit more into the middle of actually organising our own events, pull together venues and the nights that they have available,
yeah,
and match it with music event organisers who want to put on gigs, facilitate that for them, overlay our pledging system, and remove the risk of people not turning up, and then facilitate the gig ourselves.
Right, and you've got this inventory of bands that you will have built up
yeah,
to the other side of the business that
yeah,
you can draw on. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to organise an event, and you'd have to book a venue out, wouldn't you? I mean, if you're saying it's going to be a particular day, you'd have to almost block book that date, and that would be locked up until you realise that wasn't a goer.
So we've partnered up with the Sydney Livehouse in Lewisham, which is an awesome venue. They're a very intimate place, and we've got pretty much free reign now to book live gigs there, and they're very versatile. So partnerships like that are really good because now we've got dates that are available, and by us working really closely with the venue owner, we can stipulate when the event needs to be tipped by, so when the pledge goal actually needs to be met by, and then we can work around that.
Right.
And
you'd have to start it fairly early on, I guess. You'd have to have enough notice on these things to make sure you're not locking up dates too close to, because the venue would want to use the date for something else if it doesn't come about.
Yeah. So we set a middle ground where, in the worst case scenario, if the event isn't viable, the venue still has the ability to book something else.
Right.
But it works really well for them because a lot of the time venues are all about volume, and that's their main priority.
Yeah.
They want people through the door just so they can sell some beer and
exactly.
put on a viable gig.
Yeah, make it
and yeah, the GiggedIn proposition is really about mitigating that risk of punters not turning up and putting on viable events. So it really solves their problem of that massive risk of lack of attendance.
And the punters are paid in advance. So once it's known that this is going to work, there's enough people to support this, you're drawing on their credit card or whatever form of payment, so they've already paid, so you know they're going to show. Yeah,
so they pledge their credit card details, and once we hit the minimum number, the pledge goal is met, we know the gig's viable, then money is charged.
Right.
And tickets are distributed, and then we've got an awesome gig with tons of people that are going to rock up.
So this is one of these ideas, like a lot of internet-based businesses, where for it really to work, you've got to have a critical mass, haven't you? You've got to have enough bands who are interested and know about this thing to actually create enough events, and then you've got to have enough people, enough of the punters who know about the site as well to actually start booking it. Because if you don't have critical mass in either of those things, you've not really got a proposition, have you?
What's really great is that we empower bands and give them the opportunity to prove that they can draw enough people in order to make an event happen, make it viable, and please the venue as well.
Yeah.
So by empowering them, they reach out to their fans and they get their support. And we overlay other features like crowdfunding features where we can tier the different types of tickets and really get them to support in exchange for some value that the band can put up, like a free download, or even the venue could put up like beer vouchers and things like that. So it gives them the real opportunity to get behind the gig and make that happen.
Yeah.
The long-term vision for the site is really exciting in that once we do get that critical mass it's not just going to be a tool for musicians and bands and DJs to put on their own gigs, but it'll be a hub for music punters to really discover the newest, the coolest, the most awesome live music.
Yeah.
And every time a band or an artist goes onto the site, they're going to be drawing their fans on there, and there's going to be a big cross-pollination between all of the different users that are going to be on the site for that one particular band, but then suddenly discovering a suite of other new live acts which are also similarly cool and align with their tastes as well. So,
I mean, what I love about it is the fact that it is allowing more live music, because one of the problems we've got, of course, in Australia, and I think it's happening around the world, is there's just not enough live music because it's a risk to put on a show. So you've taken that risk element out. So hopefully it will result in more live shows happening, which would be a beautiful thing. Of course.
It would.
But is it working? I mean, I talked about having to get that traction. Do you feel like you've got that already?
We've had some really early traction, and our first gig that we had was a massive success. We had the band set a pledge goal of 100. They went on to sell over 270 tickets and packed out the Annandale on a Thursday night, which is really, really good for a Thursday especially. So we put over 5K worth of transactions in within that 1 week. And off of the back of that traction, it's allowed us to strike up these partnerships with new venues. And I think that's going to be the immediate strategy, is to align with more of these venues and start filling up these dates and just replicating more of the same. And
your business model, because you're collecting the money, I guess it's quite straightforward. You're clipping the ticket, basically.
Yeah, if we're acting as a ticketing agent and the tool for other people and facilitating their gigs, we take a clip of the ticket.
Yeah.
If we're acting as the booking agent and promoter ourselves, then it's more of a traditional business model where we will take the full ticket price as well, and then reimburse the bands and other.
Okay, so final question then: how big is this thing going to get? I mean, you've started it. I mean, you're a Sydney boy. Is it largely based in Sydney, or is it Australia-wide? And are you going to take on the world? I guess
we are going to change the way music events are booked all around the world, Phil.
Right.
Cool. It's going to be amazingly massive.
Right. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what everyone else thinks, because the idea with this video is people have got an opportunity to vote.
Awesome.
And tell us whether they think it's a good idea or not. So let's see what everyone thinks. That sounds like a good idea from where I'm sitting. Good to talk.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Bill.